I've been 30 for 6 months now, so I think now is the perfect time to make this video. My 20s were incredible. I graduated from university at the top of my class. I spent 8 years living abroad. I traveled to 18 countries. I hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube and co-founded a new company called Playstack, where we build YouTube channels for businesses, which is expanding far faster than I could have imagined. My 20s were really where I experimented. I made a lot of mistakes. I learned from those mistakes. I grew from a kid to an adult. And these are the 7 things I wish I knew back then. Choose the difficult path. The more difficult you consciously make your life, the more fulfilling your life will be, right? So there's this concept in neurophysiology called opponent processing. If you move your hand really slowly and smoothly, you can do it quite easily. But if you add some resistance going the other way, you can move your hand far slower and far smoother. The more resistance that is pushing back, the more accurate and precise you can move your hand across. It's like if you're trying to open a door handle super quietly, you can do it with one hand, but if you open it with 2 hands, with one hand applying adversarial force, you can open the door even more quietly. So imagine if you have a goal that you're aiming for in life. How do you hit that goal? Well, all the obstacles that are thrown at you, this kind of adversarial force, are helping you hit that goal with far more precision and purpose. I'll give you an example. I've never been very good at maths. At university, I chose to study economics and finance, knowing full well that this particular course was going to be very maths heavy. And sure enough, it was very maths heavy. And sure enough, I struggled, but I rose up to the challenge and doubled the time I spent studying the maths part of the course. And as a direct result of choosing the difficult path, I'm now far better at maths than I was and still graduated at the top of my class. And look, if you do choose the difficult path and you fail, that's awesome too. As the saying goes, and I love this, a failure is the tuition you pay for success, so don't waste a good failure. Life is about the journey, not the destination. So I recently watched my subscriber count roll to 1 million subscribers. I'd been relentlessly striving for this for years, and it finally happened. In fact, my gold play button just arrived in the post a few days ago. Here it is. It looks amazing. I'm totally putting this on my office wall. But when I did hit 1 million subscribers, I suddenly felt this kind of overriding sense of I genuinely didn't care. I always thought that reaching such a kind of a big milestone would be this euphoric moment where confetti would be thrown from the sky, trumpet players would serenade me with celebratory songs, and my team would carry me on their shoulders into the sunset. That did not happen. The reality was that I was alone in my office, writing an email. I had a tab open with my subscriber count. I watched it hit 1 million. I immediately closed the tab and continued writing my email. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely in love with my work, but 1 million subscribers is just an arbitrary number. As cliche as this is, it's about the journey, not the destination. Same thing happened with graduation at university. I had the best time at university. I honestly loved it. I studied hard. I met some incredible people. I even started a couple of businesses and made some money along the way. And I had one main goal throughout university, and that was to graduate with a 4.0 GPA or first class honours degree. I was so driven and focused to achieving that goal, and when it happened, when I finally achieved it, I was like, whatever, I genuinely didn't care. It's the same when Olympians are training for the Olympic Games. They have an end goal, which is great. That's when they're at their kind of happiest and most motivated, most driven. However, when they go off to the Olympic Games and the Olympics is completed, 80% of them have symptoms of depression. 80%, because suddenly they don't have a goal to strive for again. So if you're striving for a goal right now, this is something that I wish I knew earlier. Just enjoy the process, because enjoying the process is more important than actually achieving the end goal. Intelligence, energy, and integrity. So Warren Buffett was asked what personality traits does he look for when it comes to choosing people he wants to work with, right? And he replied, you're looking for three things generally in a person: intelligence, energy, and integrity. And if they don't have the last one, don't even bother with the first two. And I live and die by this. In life, whether it's business relationships, personal relationships, friendships, whatever relationship it is, in my opinion at least, integrity is everything. And by integrity, I mean the practice of being honest and just upholding strong moral principles. Essentially just being a good person, right? Not lying, not even stretching the truth. And there are two components to every strong relationship. Again, in my opinion, trust and communication. And a lack of integrity undermines trust and communication. So it's like, how can you build strong relationships around you if you lack integrity? The other two personality traits that Warren Buffett mentioned, intelligence and energy, these are easier to develop, right? We live in the golden age of self-education. If you're watching this video, it means you have access to the internet. So you have access to the world's most powerful educational device, Google and YouTube. You don't really have an excuse not to become more knowledgeable and informed. And I think the biggest problem we have now is not access to educational information, but the problem now is more about making the process of self-education fun and engaging, and also making sure that that information is actually sticking in your long-term memory. And this is where Brilliant.org really excel. I've partnered up with Brilliant for the best part of a year because I genuinely do believe Brilliant is the best platform to learn math, science, and computer science interactively, right? So that last word being important, interactively, because that's how we learn by doing. Interactive learning has been shown to be 6 times more effective than watching lecture videos. Brilliant has thousands of lessons with new lessons added every month. I mentioned earlier in the video that when I started my economics and finance degree, maths wasn't my strength, but I pushed through it anyway and turned that around. So now my maths is actually at a pretty decent level. I wish I knew about Brilliant back then when I started my degree. Lessons such as mathematical fundamentals would have been so helpful because not only do Brilliant make the content super digestible, so they have images, animations, easy to read text, easy to understand explanations, and most importantly, it's very interactive. So you can brush up on STEM subjects to help with everything from personal finance to career goals to understanding world-changing tech like AI and neural networks. Just like I did in my 20s, Brilliant is a great place to start. To get started for free, visit brilliant.org/Mike D or click on the link in the description. The first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Show your work. So putting out content in my 20s has completely changed the course of my life. I really don't know where I'd be without this YouTube channel. I really do think everyone should be consistently uploading content, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform. The platform doesn't really matter that much. It's more about the kind of process of brainstorming and curating content, which is really valuable. Whether you plan on starting your own business or you're more interested in working corporate, it really doesn't matter. Getting your face out there will help in so many ways because people want to buy and interact with people, not faceless brands. And here's proof. On Twitter, Elon Musk has 122 million followers. Tesla has 18.7 million. Tim Cook has 13.9 followers. Apple only has 8.8. Richard Branson has 12.6 million followers, and Virgin has a measly 250,000. And I'm practicing what I preach here, not only with this YouTube channel where I'm uploading twice a week, but I've also started posting daily on LinkedIn. I talk about personal development, about productivity, about business development, that kind of thing. So if we've not already connected over there, then let's connect. Understand that you only have about 22,000 days left on this planet. In the best case scenario, if I live until I'm 90, I have about 22,000 days left on this planet, and every 24 hours that pass, that count drops by 1. And that's why it's so important to do more activities that boost your energy and fewer activities that reduce your energy, because the unit of life is a day. Define your ideal day, then execute each day to make your ideal life. And this also links in with a point I made earlier in the video. It's about the process, not the journey, and really making sure you enjoy the process. These days, I'm paying a lot of attention to where my time is spent. So firstly, am I actually enjoying the tasks that I'm doing? And secondly, are they the tasks that are moving the needle more than anything else? Also, it's really easy to kind of let life pass you by, right? I love the idea of making small, incremental, progressive movements towards your goals, right? So if you look at your life over the last year, most days are pretty mundane, right? Nothing noteworthy happened. Every so often, there may be a day which will stick out, for example, getting my golden plaque, but most are relatively forgettable, right? And that's why I think it's so powerful. At the end of every day, you make a kind of a concerted effort to think back and ask yourself, what was the most significant thing that happened to me today, and how can I use it to help me move forward tomorrow? And by doing that every day and making thousands of these kind of small, seemingly insignificant improvements, they very quickly become massive changes. A man has two lives, and the second one starts when he realizes he has just one. So this was a quote from entrepreneur Naval Ravikant, and it's one of my favorite quotes of the last decade. It really kind of resonates with me, right? So I feel like I have lived two lives, and my second life only started when I realized I had just one. So pre-2013, I was lazy and motivated. I had no real direction in my life. Then post-2013, when I finally started kind of working hard, started chasing my goals and just putting more effort into life, and as a result, started getting more out of life. And I've also realized how important balance is. I love the idea of having 4 pillars of success topped up: health, wealth, love, and happiness. And you shouldn't really be, in my opinion, focusing too many resources on one pillar for too long, right? So I was reading a few months ago about the Global Happiness Index that ranks over 150 countries on essentially how happy the average individual of each country is. And interestingly, as of March 2020, Finland has ranked the happiest nation 5 times in a row, which is crazy. And then it's like, okay, why? How? And after some digging, one of the main reasons is that they prioritize balance, social life, and health over wealth and material possessions, as opposed to countries like the US, for example, which prioritizes wealth accumulation and is selling essentially what is the American dream. Having a well-paid job, having a job with status like a lawyer or a doctor or a CEO, that is the definition of success in the US, which is very different to the definition of success in Finland. Gratitude is the key to happiness. John D. Rockefeller was the wealthiest man on the planet in 1937. He was worth, at the time, $1.4 billion, which was equivalent to 1.5% of the US's GDP. However, virtually every middle-class person today is living a better quality of life than John D. Rockefeller was in the 1930s. We have access to more advanced healthcare, a better education system, more variety of foods, easier communication. Better communication does come with a downside in that we're bombarded on a daily basis with negativity. The fundamental role of the media, I guess, is similar to YouTube, to catch your attention and keep your attention for as long as possible. They do that by stimulating the amygdala, which is the area of the brain which notices danger. So you imagine 100,000 years ago, you walk past a tree and there's an apple hanging on a branch, you probably wouldn't notice it, right? However, if you walked past the tree and there's a snake hanging on the branch, you would probably notice it, because from an evolutionary perspective, noticing that snake could be the difference between life or death. So with all our negativity that we kind of bombarded with on a daily basis, it's also super important to actually realize how lucky we are. The fact that we have access to the internet to watch this video, that we have access to clean water, to a roof over our head, that we have our health, these things that are too easy to take for granted. And early on in this, I mentioned how I feel like I've almost lived 2 lives, the lazy me pre-2013 and the motivated me post-2013. I uploaded a video on how I was able to go through that transformation called How I Stopped Being Lazy, 7 Things Anyone Can Do. You can click on the card on the screen to watch that. Alternatively, I uploaded another video called why podcasts are the ultimate productivity hack. That's one of my favorite videos because I love podcasts as a self-education method. And you know what I also love? This video sponsored Brilliant, the best way to learn STEM subjects, link in the description below.